Hello, my name is Andrew Peng. Welcome to another edition of CMS Forex News. Today's Friday, August 29th, 2008. In Japan, national consumer prices rose above 2% for the first time in a decade. Headline inflation for the July period was 2.3% in annual terms. Core CPI, which excludes fresh food, grew 2.4%, faster than the 1.9% in July. Prices for the Tokyo area, which leads the national index by 1 month, rose 1.3% in annual terms. That was below forecast and is lower than the 1.6% rate in July. Excluding food, inflation cooled to a 1.5% rate. Household spending in Japan decreased 0.5% in July. Though it is another negative result, it was an improvement on June's 1.8% drop and beat forecasts. The unemployment rate in Japan decreased to 4% in July, also surprising expectations. Retail sales rose 1.9%, which also surprised economists. Even though households are spending less, they are cutting other spending more than retail purchases. Preliminary estimates showed that industrial production climbed 0.9% in July, yet another positive release. The yen performed strongly against its rivals overnight and at the start of New York trading. The Aussie-yen pair slid 160 pips from its high yesterday, set a new low for the week below 93. Stocks in the U.S. stumbled in New York trading, which helped the yen extend its gains. The pound-yen pair, which broke below the 200 level to start the global session, was seriously pressured, dropping 250 pips in today's trading. It's the lowest the pair has been since April. In Europe, consumer inflation unexpectedly slowed in August, falling to an annual rate of 3.8% from July's 4%. Forecasts had called for no change. It is a sign that prices may have peaked over the summer. In the Eurozone, the economic sentiment indicator measured 88.8, while the business climate indicators fell to negative 0.33. Both were lower than expected and are a worrisome sign for the start of the third quarter. In the U.S., consumer spending, which makes up about 70% of real GDP, cooled in July. Spending was up 0.2%, matching forecasts, after increasing 0.6% in June. Incomes for July dropped 0.7%, the first decrease since August of 2005, reflecting the end of stimulus checks and tax rebates. The Chicago PMI increased to 57.9 compared to last month's 50.8. Prices eased from a 28-year high, while new orders and deliveries improved. The final version of UMich Consumer Confidence improved to 63 in August, up from its preliminary release. Both current conditions and expectations improved compared to the mid-month estimate. The euro fell against the dollar in New York trading after stalling overnight near 1.4765. Cooler inflation from the Eurozone pressured the euro, and it dropped below a recent line of support near 1.47. The dollar-pound continued falling, hitting a fresh two-year low near 1.8170. The pound has been falling gradually all week and is down 560 pips from its level last Friday. The dollar did not fare well against the yen, as U.S. stocks tumbled to close the week. Dow Jones fell by triple digits, and the Nasdaq index was off 1.8%. The dollar-yen pair fell to test 108.40, where it bounced off the line of support. The pair has traded in a downward channel this week. In Canada, the PPI inflation cooled to 0.4% in July from the 1.4% seen in June. The fall is primarily a result of decelerated rise in petroleum prices during the month. The raw materials price index was up 1.4%, higher than expectations. Canadian GDP edged up 0.1% in the second quarter, up from a downwardly revised decline of 0.2% in the first quarter. That missed expectations, and the annualized rate was a meager 0.3%. The Loonie had been gaining on the greenback prior to the New York Open, reaching below 1.05. From that intraday low, the pair climbed 150 pips with the poor GDP data as the main catalyst. Trading on Monday will be light as the US and Canada celebrate Labor Day. 4 central banks meet next week: Australia, Canada, the UK, and the Eurozone. Only the RBA is expected to shift policy, a 25 basis point cut. The US will release its August ISM indexes for manufacturing and services. That wraps it up for the week in Forex News. Join us again next week right here at cmsfx.com. Until next time, happy trading.